Hello, my name is Ziggy, and in this video I will be talking about everything that I knit in 2025. This is my first video on YouTube with knitting content. I do have a bunch of subscribers from when I made videos on other topics like 5 to 8 years ago, so if you for some reason are here because you subscribed to me back then, thank you, and I'm sorry. I knit, and this is a video about that. So the reason I decided to make this very first knitting video is that I have been obsessively watching knitting videos on YouTube for like the past 4 or 5 months, and I just had to get it out of my system. I've been thinking about making a video for some time, and here we go. I don't know, will this be a regular thing? Not to know right now, but here we are. I made some stuff. I have a very realistic and kind of small number of things that I made in 2025. I think I made 7 items in knitting and one crochet. I have 4 of them with me. The rest of the 3 I will show on the side. Here we go. Let's start with what it is that I am wearing. I am wearing around my neck this Sophie scarf made in silk yarn in this like nice copper orange color from the Knitting for Olive brand. I have quite a lot of yarn left after doing that, so we'll see what I come up with to use that for. But this is the first Sophie scarf that I made, and I quite enjoyed it. The reasoning was that I have a grey scarf and a grey winter coat, so I felt I needed something to add some color to my face, and this felt like a perfect project. And to try to knit with silk, which I have never done before. It wasn't really my favorite experience. It's very tight and it becomes quite rough on the hands, I think, to manipulate the silk, especially because this was knit on like a 3.5 or 375mm needles, which felt quite large for the very thin thread of the yarn, so it became quite a tight wrangling of the yarn around the needles. But I like the scarf, and I'm probably going to make more of this style. It's something I wear almost every day, and it feels really nice. It's very easy to wear, and I like it a lot. So, yay Sophie scarf, yay silk. The other piece that I'm wearing is this blue sweater. I did not make this completely this year. This was actually finished over 1 year ago, but this year I re-knit the sleeves because I originally made it with really large sleeves. They had quite a lot of fabric around this area that I didn't really like. But this sweater is made with this cotton and merino blend yarn in this kind of denim-ish color. I don't remember what the brand or name of this yarn is. I think it might be from the brand Permin, and that the yarn is called Esther, but I have no recollection or notes from that. It could also be a Filcolana yarn, I don't really know. But it's a cotton and merino mix, and it's knit in brioche texture. I made it on 2.5mm needles. And the design is me. I just made it up from cast on and just made it up as I went along. The yarn has been pilling quite a bit. I have brushed off some pills with this like metal wire shave thing that I have to use with the pilling. But it's fine. It's a very comfortable sweater. It's very soft and it feels quite light, even though it has a lot of cotton. But the history of the sweater is that my grandfather had this beautiful, gorgeous sweater which was in the like early 90s kind of large cotton sweater that you can imagine the style. It had this, it's made of this thin, like this denim shade kind of cotton yarn, and my grandfather was a very kind of very tall and very round man, and the sweater is in a fairly large size, which means that pretty much every family member has worn this sweater, and it makes everyone look really good. Like the quality of that fabric in that sweater and the color, it just makes everyone look so beautiful. So I made this sweater up as a kind of homage or interpretation of that sweater. So when I made it, the first thing I wanted was to find a yarn that had a good color that made me feel that same feeling. And then it turned out that that yarn was incredibly thin, and I had to use 2.5mm needles to knit an oversized brioche garment, which took, I think this one took around a year from start to finish. Included in that time, of course, is also I did a lot of swatches. I tried many different yarns, different needle sizes. I tried to learn what I wanted as I went along. I constructed it by just casting on the bottom and going upwards. I have kind of a, I would say, a bit of an anarchistic knitting style. I'm not super afraid of just starting and ending up somewhere. With the other side of that coin is that I also am quite open to spending some time to redoing stuff and making sure that it's something that I actually wear and want. So in this case, that meant that when I had used this for about 9 months to a year, I felt that the sleeves that I had originally made were way too large. It meant that I didn't really put this on and wear it because it wasn't comfortable to wear under a coat. So I just unraveled both the sleeves and re-knit them. It took like 2 weeks because I was very obsessive about it. The downside to redoing the sleeves is that now I feel very inclined to also redoing the body. You can see, if I remove my shawl, that the neckline is quite wide because there is quite a lot of fabric pulling it in these directions here. I don't super love that, so I think that I would like to undo the body and make it a bit less wide, and also intentionally try to make the neckline a bit less wide, and maybe make some different construction choices. I also for some reason made the edge in this grey fabric or grey yarn. I don't super love that, but it is what it is. Redoing this will take forever. 2.5mm needles and very thin yarn in brioche is like, takes for fucking ever. But I'm okay with that. I love the fabric, the feeling of this sweater, I love the color, I feel nice when I wear it, so it would be worth it for me. But that's my sweater. What's the next thing I made? Let's take these. These are a pair of mittens. They have also an inside fabric. They are based on the pattern Northman mittens, but I didn't follow the, again with this like anarchistic style, I didn't really follow the pattern as it was, but instead I was inspired by some images of some old, I think, Estonian mittens, and used that pattern instead for this. This cuff pattern is the Northman instructions. I really like these. They turned out very well. The fabric is very dense and nice because it has 2 layers. The thing that I would redo is that, I don't know if this is visible, but it feels like this part is a bit too short on me. if I did them again, make especially like the area between where the cuff ends and the thumb starts, I would make longer. But I just stretch them on a bit and it works. The yarns that I made this in, this is, I don't know if you can see, but my camera battery overheated, but I was explaining that every other row here is made from a brown yarn and every other is made from a variegated yarn. And then we have the green one, we have this beige color, we have this pink color, we have this white color. It's such a mix. So the white and the brown, the white pattern and the brown rows are let loppi. This brown color and this white color. Then the variegated yarn is this super luxurious yarn from do we have focus there? It's from the brand Hedgehog Fibers, and I bought this, I think I was like really sad one day and I was in this super luxurious yarn shop and it was there and I got it, and there it is. And the green, I think, is from Filcolana, which is the green. And I have maybe this slight tendency to make things in, as soon as I start using color and pattern, I kind of really want to go all in and use 5,000 colors and so many patterns. I like it enough. This is a bit of a stretch. It's like a bit far outside of what I usually wear. I usually don't wear super much patterns, but it works for a pair of gloves. The next thing that I have that I knitted is are these socks. They will be easier to see on a photo, but these are socks. Like one of them I embroidered this cat with like a tree and 2 flowers, and the other one I embroidered these like mouse pointer click things, and they are socks made in let loppi based on the camp sock pattern by Osetta. And I made these over the Christmas holiday because I needed a pair of socks to go in a pair of new shoes that I had that were a bit cold, and they fit very well for that. What I was a bit worried about when I made them is that I felt that the gauge was quite loose, or like the fabric in my swatch was quite loose for a sock. And yeah, as you can see, probably they have expanded quite a lot from me wearing them, and I'm fine with this because they will be mostly worn inside of these shoes, so I don't feel like I will be like slipping and sliding around in them. But I think I get like points from myself for having this suspicion that this fabric would be a bit too loose for socks. Also, they are let loppi. I know they will eventually get holes in the bottom. I don't really mind that on socks. I find it quite relaxing and fun to sew in patches of different colors in the bottom of the sock. And then when I have made them, this toe yarn is this natural, I think it's Swedish wool, naturally dyed with a plant that I don't know the name of in English. I bought it from this old lady in a market. And then these embroideries I just made on top of the knit fabric, is also let loppi, the same brown that I used in my gloves. And the little patterns are, let's see the cat again. This cat walking with the flowers and the tree I found on Pinterest. This was I think from a Japanese book that was put on a Russian blog, and I don't have no clue. And this was just some pixel art image. I wear them a lot. They're very comfortable in my shoes, but yeah, the gauge, super loose fabric for socks. On to like my side, I can show this other pair of socks that I made for my friend Ebba, and they are also based on some vanilla sock pattern somewhere on the internet, and I chose a bunch of colors in yarns that are, I think, were around 50 grams to 100 meters. In colors that I related to her. It started with this the same yarn as in the toe of these socks, which I have very little left of, which is this come on, this kind of rustic two-thread Swedish wool yarn dyed with some natural plant dye. And this color reminded me of my friend, so I picked out a bunch of other colors that also kind of reminded me of her, and I made the sock. It took quite a lot of trial and error to get the fit right on her feet, and it took me some time to figure out how I wanted the toe and the cuff to look. But I'm very happy one day that I went into the yarn. Second time camera overheating. I one day went into a yarn shop and I saw this mohair, I think it must be hand dyed in all of these neon colors, and then I held that with just white wool yarn to make these kind of neon edges, and the embroidery also at the back. I kind of look forward to figuring out what I'm going to use this for next, because I really do not enjoy having mohair texture onto my skin, but we will find something for them. I also made 2 tiny toys because 2 of my friends got babies this year, so I made in crochet this one little thing that I just made up, and the other one was this little fish that I followed some fish pattern I found online on someone's blog. I'm sorry, I don't know the name. And that's everything that I made in this year. I don't knit very fast and I don't knit very much, so that's it. Currently, what I am working on now is, and it's quite soon finished, it's a scarf. It's from some yarn that my mother had in her home. She, like 5 years ago, wanted to get back into knitting and knitting a cardigan for herself, but she did that while she also got COVID. So after she had had COVID for 3 weeks and knitting on this cardigan, she said she never wanted to ever see this yarn and this cardigan again. So when I was there for Christmas, I got all of the yarn, and I'm not sure if this yarn exists anymore. It's called something Rowan Classic. It's a, you can see it's a blown yarn with a cotton core and alpaca fibers. I really like the color. I've never worked on a blown yarn before, and alpaca was ages ago, but it feels soft enough for my neck and it should be done pretty soon, so I'm very happy. It's just, I just made up the pattern. It's just this what's it called, the magic sock toe cast on, the Judy cast on I think is called, and then going in around forever and ever and ever and ever. So that's the scarf, and besides that I'm kind of thinking of what I want to start making. I'm looking at making a vest. I've been looking at, I think it is this camisole number 9 that I've seen really beautiful versions of. I'm not really sure how it, I have quite wide shoulders, I'm not really sure how it would look on me, but that's something I'm looking into working on. As I said, I kind of also want to remake the body of this sweater. I do need a hat. If there are yarns left over from this one, I might use that to make something slightly similar to this one, but we will see. Also I have, you know, babies of friends that needs some small tiny cute stuff. I was thinking maybe with, because I have, you know, all of these tiny leftover bits of yarn, maybe I would just make 5 million pairs of baby socks and send to them for the next winter. That was everything that I knit in this year, and my first knitting video. I hope you wanted to watch and I hope you're here. I will see you when I see you. I will keep making stuff, and I will keep obsessively watching other people's knitting YouTube content. So I guess I'll see you around. Have a good knit.